At this point, for lack of a better term, I'd gotten my fill of sadness and unease. And I'd gotten an email from Deutsche Bahn telling me that the train, this time my return, had also been cancelled. So my route to get back, which again was meant to be simple and straightforward, was not going to occur. Now the good thing about Deutsche Bahn is if they do cancel whichever trip you have, you can get on whichever train to find a route back to your original destination. Now for me, the only way back to Frankfurt was via Nuremberg on the way to Munich. This was something I wouldn't find out until shortly afterwards. I decided to say my goodbyes to a place I have no reason to return to, looked around, and made my way towards the bus stop, this time opting to go for the bus rather than risk another long walk, getting lost, and having an even longer night trying to get back to Frankfurt. I took in the overall appearance of the camp once more from the outside, something that looked civilized but was an environment that was anything but, and made my way towards the bus. Hopped on the bus, ended up at Weimar train station, and from Weimar train station got to the next destination, which was a connecting spot. From said connecting spot, I went to the kiosk and tried to get some help from the woman there. Unfortunately, she didn't speak any English, and it was me that should have spoken German, but I don't speak good German. So we used the translation app and finally had it understood that the only way I was getting back to Frankfurt tonight was to take a very long journey via Nuremberg to get back there. And if you know the geography of Germany, you know that that's a fair distance. The next train would depart in a couple of hours, so it was my responsibility to get a couple of bites in me and then wait, and then grab a beer when I was in Nuremberg, a very, very bad, disgusting beer, which I got a bitter orange spritz, and I do not recommend that. In Nuremberg, I took the time to try and dry out the shoes, and I was putting paper towel in there and doing my best to try and soak up all the moisture, but of course that didn't prove very fruitful. I finally made it back to Frankfurt am Main Hauptbahnhof with still soaking shoes. My shoes were still soaked all the way through thanks to that lovely Buchenwald weather. Finally made it back to Frankfurt at around midnight, so that day had started in Verona at 3:30am, ended in Frankfurt at midnight, been on the train all day, and then proceeded to spend the next hour or hour and a half trying to use a hairdryer to dry my trainers.